Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Big Sleep, episode 12. My name's Nick.
Ernesto.
I'm with Ernesto.
God.
We just had a little bit of technical difficulty, uh, but all is well.
I have to do all of the channel updates again.
Yeah.
All right,
What are the big updates?
recap. Um, we're on the gram now, so you can follow us on Instagram, and we're still on X, TikTok, and then all of the podcast sites. Videos are on YouTube, obviously, and
Yeah.
we now have a Discord. It's just the Big Sleep. The invite link to that is on our YouTube community page. There's a post about it. You can click on that. Feel free to join. We have a React content slash suggestions channel where you can put in memes, videos, or news articles or whatever, and we will not read them. We will react to them on separate videos that'll be uploaded to YouTube outside of the podcast. Did I miss anything?
Boom. No, I think I would just like to capitalize or caveat and say, yeah, for that Discord, I think my dream for it would be eventually to have like a moderator where we can't see the channel, and then like every Friday, like or as soon as like we're about to go and do the react content, like they can flick it on, so that way it's kind of a blind react.
Oh,
Like
so
we can't
what you're
peek our
saying
noses in there.
what you're saying is we can't trust you to not look in there?
I have not looked at any of the content other than peeking in there to see if there was content, to see if it was like becoming worth our while.
Yeah.
And then
That's
when I
all
got
I've
asked
done.
about content that was in there, I think I read the top line of something and was like, that's interesting content.
Oh, see, I haven't read anything. I just scrolled through and just saw that there was stuff posted in there. But
Yeah.
I haven't looked at any of it.
Some of it looks good. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I couldn't
I'm
tell
excited. Yeah.
you. You
I
cheat.
watched it all. It's good stuff.
The first video is going to be Nick going, "Oh my gosh. Wow.
With like a
That's crazy."
YouTube clip of
Yeah.
like
Meanwhile, I'm just losing my mind. First time ever. The one thing I do worry about is one, our algorithms are very similar.
yeah.
So I would imagine that our mutual acquaintances have similar. Like 90% of the stuff that you're sending me is me responding to you saying, "Hey, I'm literally watching that right now."
Yeah.
Like
Or
as you're
like
sending it.
I sent you that a week ago.
That too. There's a lot of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nick doesn't watch any of the shit that I send him.
I'm so bad at it. Oh man.
It's okay.
I'm not gonna lie though. We have like a pretty healthy balance of like I've sent you 2 to 3 videos and you haven't watched them. I know you haven't. You didn't LOL or anything, so I'm done. Like I'm not gonna send you 20.
Yeah.
Whereas like I'm sure you have those friends too, but like they just keep sending shit, and it's like, dude, I'm not gonna watch all these.
Or if they have like slightly different interests and they send you stuff, it's like, am I down to watch something that they sent me today or not?
Yeah.
And yeah, 9 times out of 10, that's a hard pass.
You ever have a new interest and then you just kind of like assume that like people you associate with would have that interest too? Like I start sending you like fishing videos. Like
I
what do
learned
you
my
mean?
lesson with that with you, you know?
Yeah.
Every time a game comes out and I'm like, "Oh, we would have fun playing this." You're just
Yeah.
like, "Boom. User has left chat."
Mm,
Boom.
Now what kind of game is it?
I don't even care anymore.
Nah, man. You know what? Because it's always a survival game with you people.
It's a pretty smug look on your face for that harsh a verbiage. You people.
Man, no, for real.
No, I don't have to
Yeah.
worry about it anymore because uh Crusader, oh god, why do I keep saying that? Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 released today
Yeah.
at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
And I worked night shift last night and I got up at 10:30 and started ripping.
Yeah.
Yeah. I even
I
recorded
sent
the
you a text.
video. I recorded a video of me opening the original Kingdom Come game and
Mhm.
walking into the final exit mission
Yeah.
and then uninstalling it because I finished the game. I was just waiting
Yeah.
to finish that last little part and then yeah, me uninstalling the game and launching the new one.
Nice.
Oh
That's
god.
quality content. I sent you a photo, and it's like I already kind of given you a hard time about the game being woke because I guess there's a gay scene in it. Like I really don't care. Like I think it's funny that people call it woke because of that. But
Oh god.
it says like how to romance Hans
Hans.
or hands.
Yeah, Hans. Uh well, good news. I already pissed Hans off in the game and he has run
Uh,
away and I've not seen him since. So, but it's
Shucks.
a really great game. Like the visuals in the original looked great. But there was like I don't want to say it was not well optimized, but this is like optimized. You know, I play
Yeah.
everything on ultra, um, and the game is like consistent 130, 140 frames a second, um, full blast, and it's not there's not like these hiccups or weird judders when something crazy is happening on the screen. It plays and it's awesome.
Hmm.
So to relate that back, I don't need you guys anymore. I've got my single player game
Perfect.
now, and
Perfect.
I'm just gonna play that.
I haven't been gaming, so
Oh
there's that.
yeah, yeah. Nick
The
doesn't
only thing.
game anymore because he got 3 views on his last 6 videos,
That's it.
and
Going hard.
one of them's just my Smurf account, so it's me just supporting him.
I was gonna say that
Where
for the
were you,
Discord
bro?
too.
Where were
Like
you,
all that
bro? Making fake.
ev- everyone dropping React content, just my alt accounts. Like look at all these people
I just
that
want
are
my boy.
contributing.
I want my boy to keep dreaming.
Yeah. Thanks.
No, I think we've had like steady. We're very niche. That's
Yeah.
and that's always going to be a downside. And like I don't. I made it pretty clear when we first started this. I'm just in it
Yeah.
for something to do on a Tuesday. You know what I mean? Um.
I I'll say it's stress relieving. Like at
Hell yeah.
first it maybe wasn't, but yeah, I do find it somewhat stress relieving now.
Well, I think if we start taking away the barriers of what needs to be in an episode, that kind of
Yeah.
helps. And obviously, it like gives us, we used to live in the same city and hang out
Yeah.
and do stuff like that. This kind of gives us an excuse to sit down and stare at each other for a little bit. So,
True.
um, and I'm a shut in. I don't see people in the public. Like you work around people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, people that you probably like and dislike. But for
No.
me, I'm alone at work and I'm a shut in at home. Like
Yeah.
it's 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 good because enjoy my own time and space, but I know that I need to communicate at some point. So there's that.
Yeah, I'm in an office with 3, 4 it'll be 5 people soon, not including me. And I gotta admit, I like 4 of them right now. I don't know about the new one. I haven't met him yet, but
Yeah. Um.
yeah.
But
It
yeah.
is so being social is hard. Like, I when I used to keep up with, like, the wargaming stuff, with those guys, I mean, that's really why I got into it because I wasn't very social, and especially, like, the military mindset, like, it's kinda hard to get social with people that aren't like-minded sometimes.
Yeah.
Um, or it kinda creates, like, a hive or, like, an echo chamber, and so I like to, like, kinda peek my head out every now and then, and I think that I mean, you introduced me to that group of guys, and I think I enjoy their company. So
Yeah. Well, and I mean that's an interesting part is like I'm not in that anymore. Like you have extended that relationship more than
yeah,
I have. So, um, yeah, it's interesting. But I don't know. I think that on top of the like mindset, like obviously going through an experience, I feel like normal day to day relationships require like cultivating, and I'm not a
okay,
cultivator. And I don't think that that was something that was like required in the military. You know what I mean? Like you didn't have to go out of your
yeah,
way to like, hey, we need to hang out. It's been a while. Like we need to
yeah,
work to do this or
yeah,
whatever. Like most of my friendships were there was no requirement for that. It's like you could not see each other for 5 years and be like, hey, what's up, man? Like run into each other and kick
yeah,
it off. And no one's going to be upset about it because people move away or people, move units or whatever. And
yeah.
it's just a fact of life.
I think there's two parts of that. Like if once you become more senior and you get someone, you do have like a little bit of like personal possession of their like guiding them. Like you know, you can take it personally.
Yeah.
Uh and I think that's a good tactic for leadership instead of like being disconnected usually. Um but I think that yeah, it can create a bond. But then there's also like the military like trauma bond of
The
going to
experience.
bed at
Yeah.
midnight, waking up at 3, 4 a.m. and being in the sky at like 5 a.m.
Yeah. More
And
like
then
noon. Wake
oh
up at
yeah,
3 to be there by noon.
yeah,
Yeah.
concussion by 2.
Knowing someone's, knowing someone's, taint smell after day 7 of like no
Yeah,
showering. Like that's
that
my
is
boy. That's him.
yeah,
I can tell from here.
yeah,
But
yeah. You kind of get to know like people's like traits, and you end up like hating things about people that you just never thought you would. Like that son of a bitch snores, you know, like
or they
oh
wear socks to
man,
bed. You remember how
yeah.
much we shit on that one dude for wearing
Mm-mm.
socks to bed?
Trying to
I don't
think,
even
was
know if
in
you were still
Texas?
there. No, I'm not sure if you were still there. It was Chris. That
Really?
dude,
Like
yeah.
Chris?
Yeah.
What?
That dude crawled into his bunk and he had his socks on and the entire room just mag dumped on this guy for like 30 minutes and he's like, "Guys, seriously, I get it." And like we're like, "Fuck you. Don't ever talk
Yeah,
to us again."
yeah,
Like we're telling your wife, like get out
yeah.
of here.
I think I remember this because I came back like 4 months later to help out with like a bunch of NCOERs and stuff. And yeah, I remember you guys telling me that.
This was at the shop. Oh, you definitely weren't there cuz that was the uh I caught COVID like that week. I'm pretty sure. And we were cuz I got quarantined cuz we were all in the old like you remember the old in the shop the ordnance bomb storage
Yeah,
kind of area. We were sleeping down there where the dryer is.
yeah, yeah,
We, we
downstairs.
we were sleeping down there, and that's when the CO came in and was like looking around at all of us in our bunk room, and there was like dead rats on the floor that were decaying like 2 feet from my
Yeah,
head, and he's like, "What is this?" And I'm like, "This
yeah,
is where we've been staying for the last week." And he's like,
yeah.
"Get the hell out of here." It's like, "You put us here, dog. What what are you talking about? We're not gonna touch it. Just leave.
I
Don't
remember
touch
when
it."
I got to the shop, like you were quarantined in like a oh god, it was like a meeting room on like the far like if you enter the building from the front, like far left side of the building, like right next to the one of the exit bays.
Yeah. Well, and then I got moved to the stilted barracks. Um, and I had to
I do
stay in.
remember that. Like, I was like, "Where's Alex?" And they're like, "Yeah, he's quarantined."
Yeah, and they had like caution tape against the doors with
Yeah,
like that. Was it visqueen
yeah,
plastic? And I didn't have anything. Like I had a bunk and a
yeah.
TV that wasn't connected to, like the TV didn't work, and I just sat in there. I didn't even turn the lights on for like 4 days because I had nothing to do. I just laid there, not sure what to do. And I could look out the window and look into the non-stilted barracks,
Yeah.
and all the other guys were like in there, and I would watch TV through their window or like
Yes.
teabag the window every once in a while. Like I'd text one of them, be like, "Hey, can you look up here?" And it was just my junk pushed up against the window.
Surprise.
I have videos of that.
Uh,
They would drop off MREs at the door, and one night they got some like bush lattes, and they left a couple of them outside of my door for me, and I was just ass naked. And when I heard the knock, I was like waiting by the door. So as soon as he knocked, he started walking away, and I ran out and chased him down the hall, like ass naked. And he's like, don't."
uh,
But I had a video of it because I had my phone out like this, and I'm like running towards him. But that was
sexual
shitty, man.
harassment is hilarious.
Yeah, you want to talk about uh
You can talk about bliss.
being a
Don't.
shut-in
All
or
right.
like the unhealthy side of that? Go get quarantined in a place that's smaller than a jail cell for a couple weeks. That shit was
And it
wild.
had like 3 bunk beds, right? Like,
Yeah, mine had two. Yeah, so
yeah,
the room's small as it is, and
yeah,
then cram two bunk beds in there.
yeah. And a shared bathroom.
Yeah. So
Wild.
those were good times. Waiting to see how that turns out. Long COVID.
How that all shakes out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were wild times. I remember they sent us in there. Like, I wasn't even in your unit anymore. And like I just was there to help with something. Like clean up some admin stuff that maybe either I left behind or that like someone else left behind. Because I remember like, man, me and you were the only one doing admin stuff there for a little bit. Like it was pretty freaking rough. So I remember, yeah, I came back to help out, do some admin stuff, and they sent me in there to clean that freaking that room that you were in. They're like, hey, like we gotta go in there, we gotta clean that, and I was like, what? Like, if it is like a flu or a virus, like why would we? Like, just wait. Let's just like give it a. Do you guys need to go in that room right now? Like,
Yeah, the whole place was empty like prior to that.
yeah.
No one was using it.
Exactly. It's like a layer of dust, but suddenly we have to like clean this whole freaking like it was a huge room. And we cleaned the whole thing just because you were breathing in there.
Well, someone had to clean up after me.
What I don't understand is like, yeah, do you remember that hysteria during COVID? Like
Dude.
it was like they touched the surface, it lasts 45 days. I'm like, what? Like that's
Well, and they had us working in the shop, and it was like summer. Like it was hot.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
And they have us wearing these like homemade cloth
yeah,
masks that some dude's fat wife stitched together.
true.
And
Yeah,
I'm like, we're how are we supposed to do this? You know?
yeah.
And
I would like for someone to prove that that was bad for you, like breathing into fake fucking not N95 masks.
it did nothing. It was
It
like
had to be
three.
worse for you.
It was like
Like it had to affect lung capacity or something.
three layers of t-shirts over your face. That's all it was.
Yeah,
And I remember because they were like, well, "You got to wear it. You got to wear it." As we're like working on stuff, it's like, dude, we sleep a foot from each other.
yeah.
What is the point of us wearing a mask in the shop and then going and tongue kissing
Kissing
each
that dude.
other at like
Yeah,
as soon as
hell yeah.
we go to bed? You know what I mean?
Yep,
This is
I
crazy.
agree.
And I
Yeah,
have a video of me too, like ripping a vape or a cigarette through the
yeah.
mask and smoking through it. And I was like, yeah, good thing they made us wear these.
I remember, and I'm not gonna name drop, so that way I don't get wrecked. But we were out in the field, and it was like October, and we just did like a one night, new unit by the way, like not the one we were in. But we stayed in like Hastings or something like that. Like one night we set up. It was cold, but like it was already to the point that like people weren't taking it seriously, and the big dog comes out and kind of yells at the commander and is like, these guys need to be wearing masks. And it's like so she echoed like, you everybody needs to put their masks on. So here we are outside, like, of like we're already like a distance from each other, but then we're all like setting up and tearing down tents and wearing masks outside. And I was like, these are wild times, man.
And then if you caught it in the field, they would
Yeah,
just like designate a tree that you'd have to sit under for the
yeah.
whole time. Like this, you can't do anything. You just sit here.
They figured out rooms in Hastings. Yeah. So essentially you ended up out of the field if you got it. I wish I'd have got it.
Hell yeah.
Instead, my mask froze. Like all the condensation would build up, and then I had a frozen mask.
Hell yeah.
Which again, I mean, they can't be good for you, man. There's no way. Like,
The whole ordeal was just nonsense. All of it.
yeah.
Yeah, those are things that you don't miss on a list. That would
Uh,
be some of them.
so we went down the cons list, but driving without traffic, bro. Like, take me back.
And you get to watch people that were alone in their vehicles wearing masks and like
Yeah.
latex gloves by themselves.
I remember doing like 100 between Omaha and Lincoln. Just not a cop, not like it was just no one. I think I saw maybe like two other cars.
Well, a lot of law enforcement was actually told do not do traffic. You only respond to calls and make arrests
Yeah,
if it's an arrestable offense. That's it.
those were yeah, those are. I mean, I don't know. I think that was a huge pro. It's like essential workers, and I do. I have to. We can get into the political side now. Like the going back to work stuff right now that Trump's pushing.
Oh, the
Maybe
feds.
good for essential employee or like yeah, or like trying to do like budget drawbacks and stuff. But like, man, telework is good. Telework is healthy, and I think that a lot of people can telework.
Yeah, I would agree. I think people take it a little too seriously about being physically at work. I kind of understand the argument though if you're like public sector, public servant,
Yeah,
like the taxpayer money is paying for that building, the security, all that stuff. Like that should be your place of work.
mhm.
But as far as yeah, civilian sector, I mean, if the job can be done off site, who cares? Like the job's
Yeah,
done. It doesn't matter. But I agree with like in person voting and that type of stuff for governmental function. So I think that's
yeah.
important.
I think it should be a holiday.
Like a COVID holiday.
No, like voting,
Oh
like
yeah.
it should be a paid holiday.
Well, legally it kind of is. No one can
I mean,
stop you from
if
voting.
unpaid.
Yeah. I mean, no one can stop you from voting though. So if you work that day and you're going to vote, legally they can't give any repercussions for leaving the vote. There's
I mean, I guess to
actually
not pay you, right?
I mean sure, but like there's even legal weird things like exemptions, like technically, and I'm not a lawyer, but as far as I'm aware, if you were like speeding and you were going to vote, they can't
Yeah.
like impede you from voting. I don't like that's something to look into.
Uh, like the final countdown.
Yeah.
Just yeah, sue.
So I don't know. Um, yeah.
That's funny.
Have you had any other news, or have you noticed anything with like immigration?
No. No, honestly.
Yeah, I'm just. It seems like everybody's kind of catching on board with what I talked about last episode, where like these people are essentially defending illicit workers' rights and slavery, essentially.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
there's a lot more
Yeah, that was
videos
nice.
out now
That was
uh,
an easy clip.
of yeah. Well, and a lot more people are kind of catching on. Like, um, yeah, you're condoning people working for
And
five
yeah,
dollars an hour with no benefits and all this
yeah.
stuff, and they're like complaining.
Endorsing.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy. Uh, in other news, CNN watched our videos
What?
on TikTok.
Really?
Yeah, like the official CNN channel.
Wow.
I got a
You're gonna have to pull
notification.
that up.
Yeah, I got a notification for it, and I was like, "You should follow CNN or whatever." And it was in a list of people that viewed our stuff,
Hmm.
and I was like, "Uh."
Jeez.
So
You'll pull that one up on the short. Uh yeah, that's weird. I don't know. CNN. Maybe they're realizing that like that's a better version of news. Like
yeah,
it's definitely a better version of entertainment. And like the election proved that it was a better way to talk to the youth,
hey, now you know what we need to do is apply
young
for that
voters.
new media spot with the
What's
press
that?
secretary. You didn't see that?
Oh, yeah, I did see that anyone can apply.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
and they introduce them to like the first one. They're like, they're from this podcast. They do blah blah blah. It was a podcast,
Yeah.
the first group, and it's like, how funny would it be if it was like they're from the Big Sleep podcast? Like
We're just
what?
sit there like, um, uh,
Star?
uh, Mr. President,
They're
um,
doing
is
really
it
great.
is it true?
Good work. Excellent
Yeah.
work. God, I don't know, man. Like we obviously we talked about it in the first recording of this that we had to redo, but like our podcast is niche,
Yeah.
but you know, I've had multiple YouTube channels in different kind of genres, like a music one, a gaming one, that type of stuff. And
Yeah.
honestly, like statistically speaking, there's pretty good growth on how young this channel is.
Yeah.
So there's that.
I I think I mentioned it, yeah, before we lost a little bit of the content. Like when we first started out, like it was kind of stressing me out, and it was like, this is got to be like a business, or it can't really be like impromptu, and like the structure of things and like staying on schedule. But now I'm starting to realize that like this can be stress relieving, and but I'm also realizing and learning that like recording in general can be pretty stress relieving. Like
Yeah.
just like sitting down, playing a game, you know, talking to the screen like, I think for me, like what I didn't realize is like it's kind of like playing by yourself as a kid. Like playing with action figures, like talking to yourself, talking about like the actions that were happening and getting to know yourself a little bit better.
Well, that explains why you're better at it than I am.
Nah, you're
like
good at it.
like when I play games, if I try streaming gaming content, it just divulges into me just dead silent for like 3 hours.
Like, you got palsy. It's just
I
like
go straight Stephen Hawking. Ugh.
I'm sorry, Dave. I can't do that. Like,
Like three
uh,
hours goes by and you just see me reach into my pants and I'm like, oh shit,
like, oh, you
I
forgot to.
forgot.
Yeah, that's my
Jesus.
biggest worry.
Yeah.
Forget the. That's why I don't. I would never live stream, man. I think that's too personal. Like that's too like all the risk is gone with a VOD because like you're like if you punch a screen, whatever. Like I'm not saying that's something I would do. I'm just saying like if you just like lose it, say something wrong, you're just like, well, clip it
Yeah.
or cut
With
it.
like how often you say the N word.
Yeah, neighbor.
Oh, my neighbor
Yeah,
gets us in trouble. I don't know.
yeah, man.
I know you said you haven't been gaming recently, but is there anything like coming out that's got your attention or
Well, I think I talked to you and our acquaintance, our friend, mutual acquaintance. I talked to Nolan about was it Valheim maybe? And like what sucks is like I see that game, it looks good to me. About like Outward and a couple of the other survivals that are like ARPG like, but man, I hate feeding my character. Like I hate eating in real life. I don't want like I like the taste of food, but I hate that I have to like eat to survive. And I don't want to do that in a game, man.
this guy? I don't. I thought Outward was fun. We started that and then you bailed.
Nah, it wasn't me that bailed first.
I don't know about that.
I mean, and those games are. I mean, I guess all games are a little bit more susceptible to this, but like they're. I feel like survivals are more susceptible to someone like powering ahead and like absolutely leaving everyone behind.
Yeah.
Like, nice sticks and stones base, man. You want to come check out my
Ebony Tower.
yeah ivory, yeah something.
Yeah. Um, my daughter played Outward. We played Outward together for a long time.
Outward is difficult, like
Yeah.
initially. It's
Couch
hard to get
co-op.
rolling.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
90% me babysitting her from getting slaughtered,
yeah.
but we've kind of been hopping
Remember,
around.
yeah. I remember that freaking praying mantis on the beach,
Yeah.
like destroying me.
Yeah.
What do I got? Still Unholy, Dungeon Crawler. I updated Hero Siege. I plan on playing it again here soon. Like a lot of the ARPGs just rolled into new seasons. Like Diablo 3 just rolled into a new season. Diablo 4, I think, did. And they're actually saying that this season's pretty good. I just hate the open world of Diablo 4, so I don't play it. But I still need to grind through Hellgate. Half Sword is good.
When's
I
Light
don't
No
know.
Fire come out?
That's a good question, honestly. Because like, yeah, I would forgo any desire to play Valheim for that.
Also, I noticed that what is it? No Man's Sky came out with like a huge update again, and it's like
Yeah,
they're
man.
updating that game, and isn't that the same devs?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like back-to-back W's for them. You wouldn't expect that, especially with other companies. I mean, it's still a small company compared to like EA and all that and Ubisoft, right? But those companies that are getting hit with like taking L's right now, like No Man's Sky took a huge L and they
Yeah, they're
turned
the
it around.
comeback kids for sure.
Yeah. Uh, actually, there was one game. Oh gosh, what I bought it way Finder. I bought this game and it still has mixed on all reviews, but is now very positive. It was a MMO and they weren't very transparent about like what it was gonna be. But then they hit you with like microtransaction hell like day one, and I refunded it. I think I played like 40 minutes of it and refunded it. But they turned it into a um single player and then online co-op, and they turned it around, and it looks freaking good. Like I almost want to purchase it again. So
What do
yeah,
you do in it?
Wayfinder. How would I explain it? It's like it'd be like playing Darksiders co-op, maybe like gameplay, like mechanics wise. But then it's also like an action RPG. It's got loot, which I love. Third person.
Kind of has like an
So
Overwatch vibe to it.
yeah, aesthetic. Yeah, it's got like that shading, that art style.
Blizzard.
But yeah, Airship Syndicate, I guess, is the dev, but they took a pretty hard L as well, and they turned it around.
I can't remember what was the name of that MMO I was talking about.
Ashes of Creation.
Yeah. What's the word on that?
I don't know. I know Pirate Software put out a huge video within the last couple weeks that I've been meaning to watch. Um, about he interviewed one of the devs, and I know him and Asmongold have talked about it, so I just need to watch it. Maybe we can react to it or something.
Yeah, it made 750,000 in 12 hours.
Ashes of Creation.
Yeah.
Oh, really? When, but there's still no like they've delayed it. Like it's delayed by years, I thought.
Oh, I mean that could be.
Ashes of Creation release date. Alpha 2 Phase 1 was October 25, 2024. I don't know. I think that game got some bad press cuz they did like alpha keys and beta, or not beta, but all alpha keys and like different stages of alpha to try to like raise money, and people are getting the vibes of some other MMOs that did similar tactics and then never opened and just kind of milked people for money. But
Yeah, so oh, okay, okay. I thought you had to pay per alpha wave, but it's not.
I can't remember
Yeah, so you can
specifically.
buy Alpha 2 right now and it's $110 and you get access to subsequent Alpha 2 test phases, access to future Beta 1 test phase, and Beta Test 2 phase. 1
Yeah.
month of game time, so it's going to be $15 a month, it looks. And $15 in Embers. It says in-game marketplace credits, not pay to win.
Yeah, I don't know.
How does that work?
I feel like if you could purchase them now and use them in game, then that's immediately pay to win. Like I don't know what 15 credits gets you, but it's about like WoW with the WoW token. As soon as they pop the top, like that fun didn't stop. Like yeah, Pandora's box, man.
I'm just confused at their verbiage here. So like if you buy one of these alpha keys, do you get to play every time there is a test phase?
I'm not sure. Honestly, I haven't like I see the game and I see like YouTube content for like advertising it, but like I haven't kept it on my radar.
Yeah, that's weird. I mean, it looks like a fun game from what I've seen.
Yeah.
They definitely need a dark mode for their website, though. Damn.
I saw you lit up like a Christmas tree.
Jeez.
Ashes of creation. Uh, do you do all the cooking in the house?
No. If I said yes to that, I probably wouldn't be alive for the next podcast.
Yeah. So she does all the cooking?
Also no.
Oh,
I mean,
so
yes, she does. She does all of the cooking, yes. But
NVIDIA broadcast, high GPU load. What?
you got a large load, brother.
Uh, maybe it's video noise removal. I don't know.
No, but we do need to stop eating out. Like we went through a really good long phase where we just did groceries and ate at home only. And then you just go through these spurts where you're like, I don't feel like it. And
Yeah,
then that turns into like a long time.
yeah.
Um, but we definitely like we ate Jimmy John's today, and we already decided before we ordered it. We're like, we're done after this for a while,
Yeah.
and we're in.
Yeah, especially if you're doing that thing with work.
Well, that's what I was just gonna say. That started
Yeah.
on the first. So we did our weigh in, and obviously now I need to start cutting. But
My reason for bringing it up is I'm looking for ways to like uh make life easier, right? Like I get home late, especially right now, like work's kind of higher tempo. And I mean crock pot meals and stuff like that. I'm looking at, different ways to build on that. And we bought a rack of ribs. Um I tossed it in the oven late. I got home really late last night, and I tossed it in the oven, and I was like, "There's no way it's gonna be done." So we, forego, and I tossed it in the sous vide,
mm-hmm.
and then just made like fries and a oven pizza instead. But we opened those ribs up at like 6:30, and I tossed them on like a skillet for like 2 minutes on like just the meaty side. And man, they're delicious. Like
Yeah,
everyone loved them.
sous vide is like the cheat code for meat.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I I went through like a year long thing where that's the only way I would make my steaks.
Honestly, it's too good to pass up. But also, like, yeah, for simplicity, like you can't beat it. Like
Mm-hmm.
press start first thing in the morning, come home,
Yeah,
eat perfect steaks.
and you can leave it in there for like
Yeah,
15 hours if you wanted to, as long as it doesn't go over temp. But it's between that and the smoker for meat. I mean, I'll do smoker,
yeah.
I'll do the sous vide.
So I don't have a smoker. I did try smoked salt recently.
Mm-hmm.
That stuff, it hits different.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I need to buy it. I tried it. The guy brought it into work, but
Yeah,
I need to get a smoker.
we just got like a cheaper tower smoker. Like
Yeah,
I don't know what it is. It's like a pit boss or something like that, but it does the wood chips. It's not a pellet smoker. You actually buy like the little flaked off wood chips,
yeah,
and that's excellent. I mean, we'll put in steaks. I'll put in like corn on the
yeah,
cob and leave all that in there, and it's with some apple wood.
yeah. I had one added to the cart, the Amazon cart, because we're typical like Midwestern, I guess, American value to add everything to Amazon, right?
Yeah.
Uh, but I would like to find the happy balance of like sous videing it and then tossing it in the smoker just for like the flavor.
Yeah.
Like, because I've seen too many, like, horror stories of, like, "Oh, this brisket didn't break," in my smoker, and it's like, man, sous vide will break that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I bet you could do that. Like cook it on a very low temperature setting in the sous vide.
Yeah.
Although you're kind of running into like redundancy at that point because I
I
don't
mean,
know
if
if you'd
you
want to
just toss it
smoke
in the
it
smoker.
first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, because then if you put it in the sous vide after, it would get, like, all soggy. Like, the bark would get soggy. I don't know, because it was the same thing for steaks. You would, like, build a layer to keep some of the flavor in. Like, you'd sear it first.
Oh, I do after sear on
Yeah.
everything.
Honestly, I preferred after sear,
Yeah, because that's
but
how you get
a
the
lot of the
crust.
videos I watched said to do it first. With butter. Man, butter's
What kind of butter do you use,
butter. Just like regular salted butter, like stick
bro?
butter.
Got to get the Kerrygold.
Really?
Kerrygold salted. It'll change your life. Make mac and cheese with Kerrygold butter,
Yeah.
and you tell me
Well, the wife knows now. Like,
it's it's next gen.
add that. Add that.
Add to cart.
Add the cart.
Yeah. No, their
And
butter
smoked
is
salt.
amazing. Brooke's the one who it got me onto that. She's been using that forever. It's yeah, it's a little more pricey, but I'll tell you
Yeah.
what, if there's like a category, some things are more expensive for no reason, and then some
Yeah.
things are expensive for a reason, and the butter is a hard W.
Butter. Uh, I have a confession then. Like, I was like a margarine baby until I got married. Does that explain a lot?
Yeah, I mean, again, Nebraska.
Yeah.
I grew up with my grandparents raising me, and we had the like what was that bot? Like a tub,
Yeah, the like
but it
brown.
was like yeah, brown,
Yeah,
but it
what's
was
it
like a
called?
crocker. Was it
Crocker
crocker?
something?
But it was like light butter. So
Yeah,
it
country
literally,
crock.
yeah, country crock, yeah, had no
Yeah.
flavor at all.
Yeah.
Um, is that
That's
what was
it,
it?
man. That's
Country
what I grew
crock
up with. A
butter.
lot of country crock. I'm pretty sure it used to come in like a circular tub.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's on there if you go under images.
Yeah. That's it, man. Margarine, right? Like that is margarine. It's my understanding.
Yeah,
Land O'Lakes margarine, country crock.
I'm
I
looking
can't
at the
believe it's not
exact.
butter.
Yeah, I'm looking at the exact one.
Yeah, just in salted or non-salted. What I didn't realize until, I mean, I don't know, until it was too late in life, that a lot that's just like whipped oil.
Yeah,
Like, I didn't know that, man. You can't say, "Oh yeah, whatever." Like, I'm
there it is.
I was like, I'm confessing. That's it, man. I didn't know. I didn't know what I didn't know.
Just terrible for
That's
you.
yeah. It looks honestly, I kind of want that on bread right now.
Yeah, just a light coating on some stale
Yeah,
bread.
some toast. Bad, yeah, some shitty white bread.
Dude, the delicacy when I was growing up was if you could get some butter on bread with some cinnamon and sugar.
Yeah.
Like we would mix uh that
That was oatmeal for us. We put like cinnamon and sugar in the oatmeal.
malto meal,
Malto meal.
chocolate malto meal.
Mm.
That shit was probably who knows what's in that.
I had a buddy who like I would always end up over at his house and like I'm sure his parents didn't want to feed me, but like they always kept like a thing of crackers there for me, like saltines, and
I'm
I
trying
would
to
just
send a
have like
message.
I would I would just have like a row of like I'd do a line of saltines and take like a sip of like Diet Pepsi and just be like super full.
And just die. God. Yeah,
Uh,
crackers are. I don't know. I'm not, like, if they're there, I'll eat them or whatever. But if we do soup,
mhm.
Brooke will and I'm not exaggerating this. There is more crackers in the soup than there is. Like,
Yeah,
there's no liquid left.
like she puts them in the soup.
Yeah,
That's only for chili, bro.
I'm not kidding you. If she
Yeah,
the what are they, oyster crackers?
yeah. Okay, that's different.
Dude, she'll buy a bag and we'll make
Yeah,
like chicken noodle or whatever, and she'll dump a half a bag in one bowl. And it's just no one wants to touch that. Like, if what am I
yeah.
supposed to do? What am I supposed to do about
Soggy
that?
bread.
Yeah.
God, I love soggy bread. I think they have flavored oyster crackers too, like garlic or something like that, or
Oh, I'm sure.
garlic parmesan. I love those though. Like, you ever just like toss a handful back? Like,
I'm
just
not
get
a
a nice
serial killer.
armful of oyster crackers and like, oh man,
It's like sitting down to eat a meal of garnish. Like, I'm just gonna eat these basil leaves while I'm at it. Just basil
no
leaf.
way. It's crackers. I mean, like it's like goldfish. Like you ever like the
You're,
kids goldfish?
you're gonna
You
keep
just
trying to relate to me, and I'm not going to bend and say that I just sit around and eat crackers. Like, I think
well,
it's weird. Like, they'll buy Ritz crackers all the time
oh
and
yeah,
just sit and eat them, and it's
yeah,
like that's the
with nothing.
closest. Yeah, that's the closest I've been to being able to just sit and eat crackers, because I will, if they're sitting out, I'll eat them. But it's like
Yeah,
their salt ratio is
yeah, yeah.
impeccable,
Uh
you
huh.
know?
Ritz are good,
Yeah. But
and
I've
they've
never
got
been
flavored.
I was never a fan like growing up or anything, but yeah.
Yeah, Ritz. Yeah, honestly, like I haven't had any like fake cheese, like cheese whiz or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure I could have like spray cheese and Ritz for dinner and be just fine.
I mean, that's the classy version of an MRE anyway,
Yeah,
if you
true.
think about it.
Probably healthier too.
Yeah. It's not like that
But
cardboard dehydrated bread that they give you with the cheese.
yeah, the jalapeno burger. Who
Just
knows,
think
man?
of the jalapeno cheese.
Oh yeah.
Just the chunky, like, you go to squeeze the bag and someone
Hmm.
would be coming out and then it would stop because there would be like a chunk of
Yeah.
jalapeno in there.
Yeah, I think I've done pretty good over the last 5 years of just not eating MREs. Like I mean, if I'm in the field, I've lasted like upwards 5, 6 days of just like not eating, like anything other than granola bars and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah,
And bringing enough food.
if you could get your hands on a box of the Mountain MREs,
Yeah,
that's where it was at. Cuz those were good.
yeah,
You just throw some
yeah. I've
boiling
seen.
water in there and I mean, it's essentially astronaut food,
Uh,
and that was way better.
I've seen that. Yeah, like Walmart's got something. It might be those or
It's
something
the same
similar now.
company. They just
Yeah,
make a civilian version, but
yeah,
yeah, those were good. I liked those.
yeah. Everyone's got their own jet boil now too.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that reminds me, I need to buy the rest of our stuff for our outdoor whatever.
Yeah.
I took off 10 days in March.
You gonna do it finally?
Probably not,
You
but
said
we
you
have
said you're taking her camping.
well, she wants to do that survival shit, and I don't know, man. Like the only place I could think of going where it's not going to be a bunch of money is the land where I hunt,
Yeah.
but it's just like,
Been watching too much Outdoor Boys.
yeah, poor out. Have you? Do you watch them?
Yeah, my son's addicted to it, so I mean every now and then he goes through like the same thing I go through. We're just like, "Oh, I'm interested in this. Let's binge it."
Yeah.
And yeah, every now and then it's Outdoor Boys.
Well, now it's like the tear jerking moment where Tommy is like camping by himself now. Like he has his
Oh,
own
really?
videos of him camping by himself now, and it's like the glory days are over, man. You know?
Why? Because the kids, like, what they get divorced or something?
No, it's just like they're growing up. Like if you
Oh,
spent your days watching the Outdoor Boys, it's like
yeah,
them
yeah,
kids are going out on their own now and making their own
yeah.
videos.
I always thought that like the wife looked kind of miserable. Like every now and then she'd look like she'd have a good time. Like when he'd go to like exotic like islands and stuff. But like there's other times I'm like, man, you really had to drag her along on this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of a wishy-washy feeling that you get. Like Brooke is in love with her. Like she's
Yeah,
such an angel, blah blah blah, and I'm sure she is. But in the same token, it's like you got to get, he's tired of hauling a camera around too. Like that's a
yeah.
job.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's
And
turned it into a job for
you
sure.
get to go do all those things, but like there's a buy-in.
Hmm.
And he's made videos cuz they used to do one every weekend, every
Yeah.
Saturday. And he did a video, a few years ago where he's like, "Hey, we're going to start slowing it down." I mean, they've got to be making buku bucks.
Yeah, he's gotta be I mean, he probably could have retired, like he's just raking it in.
And he was a lawyer before that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I've seen some of his old like lawyer videos. Those are funny.
oh man, the best videos of him are the like short like TikToks that are like thirst traps of him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're hilarious. They'll be like it'll start off with like I'm a criminal defense attorney for DUIs, blah blah blah, and then it cut scenes with like you've seen the military ones of like the spec ops whatever, and it like transitions hard. And it's like and them doing crazy shit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like him saying that entering line where he's all dressed up and looking all proper, and then it's like montages of him like turning in the rain and like
Oh, jeez.
starting a fire. Man, it was.
What a he's a goofy looking dude
I
too.
know, but something
Oh,
about it is so good. Brooke would just send those to me over and over again, and they
that's
they
funny.
don't get old. They're so funny.
I will say though, like out of all the YouTube bullshit, like I find that dude acceptable to be on my TV sometimes.
Oh, 100%.
What's the NASA dude that does like the elephant toothpaste and all that stuff? Like man, some of that crap is so over the top that when my oldest is watching it on the big TV, I'm like, dude, turn this off, man. I can't deal with another like over the top like
Like brain rot.
YouTuber again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what's up, guys? It's me. Like
Hit that bell
jeez.
icon.
Yeah.
No, Outdoor Boys is
Like
good,
comments.
and they're obviously like a religious family. And think about his target audience. The success that they have is because they are videos that are recommended on normal YouTube channels, and I'm sure he's on YouTube Kids.
Yeah.
So he's getting literally the full spectrum of age groups on his
Mhm.
audience. And kids are just like subscribe. Like they're like, "Oh, he said subscribe or whatever." So he gets all those, and then you have families that have it YouTube on their TV or whatever, and it's like, "Yep, this is acceptable." But the
Is
kiddo
there
loves
ads
watching
on
it.
YouTube? Like kid content?
I don't think so.
Like how do they monetize like YouTube kid I mean, yeah. I know I'm asking just an open question, but like I don't know how they monetize it, so I'm curious. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they have um They might have like banner ads or something like that, or like agreement
Yeah.
or whatever. But even if they took a loss from YouTube Kids from their
Yeah.
main, you know, cash flow side, it's still a
Yeah.
win because they're
Yeah. I
getting.
agree.
I mean, that's future investing. The everybody who grows up watching YouTube Kids is bound
Yeah.
to move on to YouTube and be a consumer.
I'm curious, like, because Miss Rachel is on Netflix now,
Yeah.
and she's, I mean, she's a millionaire. Like, I mean, I don't know what her net worth is, but Miss Rachel net worth. But yeah, she's huge.
I will say this, and I'm not out of the woods yet because I'm sure there's more kids at some point in my future.
10
But
million.
oh yeah, but like I am glad that my daughter grew up in the age that she did because there
Yeah.
wasn't all of this over the top bullshit
Yeah.
quite popular
Yeah.
yet. Like we didn't
Yeah.
watch uh like brain games, whatever, or
Yeah.
like all these other things where it's just
Peppa
like
Pig.
I have no
Like,
clue. Oh, Peppa Pig was a thing for her, but
yeah.
yeah, it was like cartoons or like Bluey. Don't even get me started.
Yeah.
Bluey is like mint. It's like one of
I
the
like
best
Bluey.
shows. Yeah,
That's
it's like
good.
one of
Yeah.
the best shows there is.
Yeah.
Thank the Australians for that. But like
I can handle Bluey.
there's a teaching moment. Uh Brooke has sobbed her eyes out watching it. I've gotten pretty emotional watching it on
There's
some of
some,
those
yeah, there's
episodes.
some good moments.
Yeah.
And, like, you can choose who you're gonna relate to that day. Like, sometimes I'm watching The Dad, and I'm like, I know, man.
Yeah. But there's good stuff out there,
Yeah.
and there's stuff that's not, man. Like I don't know. I don't want to get too into the
Coco
weeds
Melon.
about it, but oh fuck that. All these Russian,
Yeah.
like what's Sasha and the Bear? Oh, get out of here
Yeah.
with that. I'm not watching
I
that.
think, and I could send you the video later, but, like, Coco Melon changes frames every, I think it's, like, 4 seconds. Uh, but, like, I think, like, the median is, like, 4 to 6, it's, like, 4 to 6 seconds, but I think it's, like, 4 seconds is, like, the majority, actually. Um,
Just anxiety inducing and ADHD inducing.
Absolutely. Yeah, and the whole idea is that young kids obviously can't pay attention to something, and you know, because they're focused the way their eyes work, and they see it, and then like if it was a still, if it didn't change, then they would lose.
Shiny
And so
object.
instead it just like punches them right in the cortex, like,
Yeah.
what's up, new scene, new scene,
Yeah.
new scene. Like, yeah, I'm gonna be interested to see what the future of that is. I mean, honestly, TikTok's the same way though. Like, it's
Yeah.
adults doing it.
Adults getting punched in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this other movement that's been going on, and this one is actually I was very disappointed and upset, but like some of these TV shows, and this is a real movement, you can look this up, but like they'll draw you in with a very well made show, like kids show,
Hmm.
and then they'll get you hooked, and then on season 3 they'll be like, also everyone on this cast is gay, all of them, and
Yeah.
now they're all kissing each other, and now they all love each other, and it's like they do that shit on purpose. Like there was like 2 different shows that I was like, man, the animation's good on this, like it's pretty
Yeah.
entertaining or whatever, and you can't tell me that none of this was in the first 2 or 3 seasons, and then out of the blue you're like, now these 2 kid characters are blushing and now making out.
Honestly, I have only experienced it once, and it was on a Netflix show. I think it was like Dino Park or Dino something. Um,
It's a lot of Netflix
but
and a
yeah,
lot
it
of
was
Disney.
Netflix. But yeah, it was something with dinosaurs. And I just remember like being like, man, let's watch something different. This is weird.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Again, it's like that stuff would not bother anyone. I know it wouldn't bother me. It's the build up. Like they make it this big grandeur thing, and it's like
Yeah.
you just made it the focus. It'd be different if it wasn't the focus. All right, I'll read it to you.
Uh, okay.
All right, we have one mail-in question for Nick. Okay, we're gonna leave out names, but okay, it says I have a question for Nick, but both of you can answer. Nick, you made a comment on one of your videos about your eldest daughter having a hard time relating to you and vice
Uh,
versa when she was younger. But now you both have a strong relationship. That wasn't verbatim what you said, but along those lines. Since that comment, I have come to the stark realization that even though young female is growing up, she will change a lot, and sometimes she will be more attached to her dad. I'm 100% an advocate for her to have a strong relationship with him, but I'm also worried about mine and her dynamic changing. We've had such a strong relationship since we met, and I'm nervous for the inevitable ebb and flow of her growing. How did you navigate this? I know no matter what, I will still nurture a relationship with her. I'm just wondering what it was like from your perspective to handle that in your own home.
dang.
Let's hear what you got to say.
Um. Well, from the top, yeah, this is some pretty heavy stuff. Like, I think, um, I need to go back and maybe dig around, figure out what episode it was in that I talked about my relationship with my daughter. But I mean, it's absolutely true. She at one point, like there was nothing we could do. Every single time, like I turned a corner, like she didn't want to see me. Like we butted heads. I would tell her what to do. She was defiant against it. Um, but yeah, I don't think it was just me. I think that she was just going through that phase. But like with my wife, she could at least go in there and like do the like the female to female thing, and then like talk her down. But for me, I was like the stereotypical military like alpha male. I thought I could just like yell at her and tell her what to do. Um, so I changed my tact with her a little bit easier. Well, now that I have four, still not easy, but I've relaxed. You know, I don't absolutely beat my kids like I did with Bentley. Poor kid. I put him through the freaking ringer. So yeah, he was my way to learn all the hard lessons. But I think ebbs and flows is the correct verbiage. Like those things change. And Alex, you can chime in by all means. Like I think that those things change. Like sometimes, you know, I have a kid that I'm favoring. Like at times, like depending on the spurt that they're going through, and then sometimes, like I feel like the kid favors me. Like they want to spend more time with me than they do with mom. And honestly, like it's the same thing for like other relatives. Like sometimes they just want to go over to their grandparents and like not be. Yeah, I think it's where they're looking for influence at that time.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. And like, I guess from the dad perspective, I think, and I could be 100% wrong on this, right? Like, yeah, we still have young children. So
Yeah,
it's who knows what they're going to turn out like. But my philosophy is I feel like a good dad understands that our role is, it differs from the
yeah,
mother's. And
yeah,
I think that it's important to be able to recognize that because of that role specific part that you're filling, um, you have to have an understanding that some days your kids are not going to be like, hey, I want to hang out with dad or whatever.
yeah,
Um, I think you're there to be the emotional regulator, the teacher, the logistician, and the protector. And
Yeah.
I think a lot of that growing up that happens with kids is you're in it for the long term, I guess, like not the instant gratification. And you get to determine whether or not you are a good dad specifically based on how your kids view you when they're older.
Yeah, yeah, to some extent, I mean, yeah, I agree. I agree with quite a bit of that. And like, I'm gonna gauge myself on whether or not I made them, respectful, successful,
Yeah.
uh, you know,
But like I'm going into it,
competent.
with my daughter, I'm like, I fully expect her to have days where she hates my guts when she's a teenager.
Y- Absolutely, yeah.
And
Or
I don't,
even now, yeah.
yeah,
There's days that I have to be the bad guy, for lack of better terms.
yeah. And you have
Yeah,
to trade that with the expectation that when they're older, they are understanding and they see the value in how you
yeah,
handled situations. Um, that's like what gets me through. I'm blissful about it because it's like the lessons that dad teaches aren't something that you instantly grasp. You know,
yeah.
a
You might have to
mother,
learn some of them the hard way,
yeah,
on
and
top of what they said.
it's self discovery too, right?
Yeah,
Like we
yeah,
we push in the right direction, but we're not
yeah,
laying it out unless it needs laid out. Uh, I can see why kids, move towards the mother side, especially because they're just the emotional support. Like they can feel anything and go to
yeah.
mom and feel better because she's going to give the love and that
I
side
agree
of
with
things.
that. I think that mom, especially in like a Midwestern, because we're talking about like a Midwestern value, like mom, dad, like, and I know that you and I typically gravitate towards that, instead of like unique relationships,
Hmm.
uh, but I definitely think the mom's role is like a known constant. Like they don't like I never see my kids question or like seek approval from mom. Like, look, mom, look what I'm doing. It's like that happens, sometimes, and that's like when they're playing. But like I can tell that like my kids seek my approval on
Hmm.
things, and I think that's built from the don't run near the street. Like, you will get hit by a car. Like, if I want you to see tomorrow, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Yeah. I can get behind that. I think the biggest takeaway is if you're worried about, again, this is from the dad perspective, but in the moment, it's easy to get wrapped up in that and forget about, giving grace to your kids and having some
Yeah.
patience. Like
Yeah.
they're on
Yeah.
this world for, under 10, 15 years. They have not
Yeah.
experienced a lot of stuff. And I can relate. Like, I think all of us can remember the shock and awe of being alive when you're a kid. And we've experienced that. And I think that experiences stay with a man's brain. And it's like a constant reminder. Like, everything we experience is like related back to past experiences and how we react to it. But
Yeah.
that's something I can work on for sure is one, you know, my daughter's just a little girl. And
Mhm.
if she's not grasping something, I need to be like, okay, that's okay. But
Yeah.
um,
Supportive.
yeah, and it can go one of two ways, like uh, I don't know, like my dad left when I was very young, right? So I had the mom side of it, and that works. But when you experience stuff as a young child, and you don't have both of those things, it's like you either heavily rely on one and you miss out, or you become defiant to the one that you do
Yeah.
have. And I definitely went down the path of defiance to the one I did
Yeah.
have. Like, I did not seek emotional support from mom. And in my later years, like late teens before adulthood, those colors showed, you know, like I didn't have those long term uh, teachings given to me by a male figure. So I didn't have that time to like mull it over and learn from experience and stuff like that. I did, I just did shitty things and learned the hard way, which eventually corrects your behavior. But you know,
Yeah.
for some guys, it's too late to correct that
Yeah.
behavior.
Jail. Who knows
Yeah.
what?
So yeah, part of the reason why I ended up in the military was was because of my late teen decisions. So
I definitely I think that this stuff, I mean, it comes in waves. I mean, there's been times, and it's not just with the girls, like same thing with the boys. There's times me and my oldest, like I see myself in him, and that brings me to my next point is like sometimes likeness can be a problem too. As kids are trying to find their own identity, I think that like if they have too much likeness, it just like anything, you know, if you ever had a friend that you had too much in common with, and then suddenly it's just like, hey man, I want my own. You kind of want your own personal space,
yeah,
and it creates you know, friendship issues. Um, it happens absolutely with kids too. Like me and my oldest, it happens near constantly. He is a direct reflection of me, and he and I butt heads. I mean, still to this day, but we also have like just a pretty known constant relationship.
yeah, and I think that's part of it is when you're going through those things, you as the parent have the sole responsibility of consistency
Yeah,
because you're not going to get consistent. See, the ebb and flow is happening on your kid's side,
yeah,
and you have to remain consistent whether
yeah,
they hate you in the moment or not. I think that's
yeah,
one part too, and you can see this if you deal with people that have uh like trauma history or mental disorders and stuff that are not like non-chemical related, more trauma related, you can immediately see like or get a hint at what went wrong. Um,
yeah,
and you can hear it in parents too when they're on the negative on the downside of at the ebb and flow or whatever, and they give up or they
yeah,
become inconsistent or discouraged. And it's like if there's one thing, the best thing that you can do when your kid is having issues or you feel like they hate you is continue to be open to them.
yeah,
Like cuz they're going to come back eventually. So it's
yeah.
just like,
That's it.
"Hey, you're pissed at me now, whatever. Just want, you know, I'm
Yeah,
still here. I'm still your parent. I'm still going to take care of you. So whenever you're done with it,
that's it. Dinner's still at the table.
yeah,
Yeah,
as long as you continue to have that mindset, like you're good, it's when you close it off, you become a
yeah,
resentful piece of shit and the kid becomes a resentful.
correct.
So, and you both lose. I mean, that's a
Yeah,
zero sum situation.
you're absolutely right. And they're going through the chemical part as like their body changes as well. Like, yeah, we've normalized, at least for the most part, on our, you know, our emotions and our you know, testosterone and estrogen levels and stuff like that. But
Hmm.
they're riding a very serious wave. So
Yeah,
kind
even
of,
as
I
young
think,
kids, like even prepubescent, like
yeah,
shit's running through them.
right.
So, yeah, decent question. I think we answered. Did you answer? I think we answered everything in there.
Yeah, I think so. How do we navigate it? I mean, the
It's the
best you
long
can.
game. Yeah.
Yeah, just time. There's nothing you could do to fight time, and you just kind of let it happen. Oh, I will say, um, I am a very open advocate for therapy. Like, I mean, once again in a typical male fashion. I do my best to like avoid talking to people, particularly therapists, because nothing's wrong with me, and that's me giving in to the man or woman. Um, if I go to a therapist, but like, man, every time I go, I just after a couple sessions, I do walk out feeling better, and I've seen it work for the kids as well. So I'm not equipped to navigate all this stuff.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like uh I don't know. I don't want to come off sounding like a shithead, but I feel like even if you're equipped to deal with it,
Yeah,
you're not equipped no matter what because you're not a third
yeah,
party.
it,
Like
exactly.
you could
Yeah,
have
you have
the
a
answer.
bias.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm saying theoretically you could even have the answer, but they're not going to hear it from you. And I think that's like a beneficial time to have a third party expert essentially give the same story, but something about it's more effective to hear it from someone on the outside.
I think with counseling, like they can get to the why, or like almost like an inception. Um, Sometimes, I mean, for adults and kids, of just what brought you to that decision to be, to whether it's to be defiant against your parents, or like what brought you to that decision to, you know, essentially force your child into, this way of thinking. Well,
Yeah.
if you're slamming the door on them, then like big surprise if they stomp off and slam the door. So
Yeah. 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 I don't know. It's deep.
yeah, there is no perfect system. We just break them, and then they go on to break the next ones.
Well, adults are just grown up kids, you know? I say that all the time. Is like
Yeah,
whenever you're mad at somebody, this is a good rule for life. If you're ever mad at somebody or you think they're being a fucking moron, and even if they are, one way to calm yourself down is to just think of them as a child. Like that's just a little kid that experienced something and now they have the thought that they're going to talk to me like this. And it's like,
yeah,
I don't know what happened in between right now when you're saying something to me and why you're so, you know, you
yeah.
have a proclivity to being like this. And
Hey,
it works for me. I mean, I'm like, I could see it, you know.
there is a certain amount. Like I get worked up pretty easily, and I've been. I mean, I'm better now, but like I was pretty angry, um, growing up. But like, I do find it comical when like when other people get angry, because then I'm just like, man, what are you so angry about?
Yeah.
Like, this is just weird.
Well, people can't see the short term, or that's
Right.
all they see, you know, directly right in front of them, whatever the stimulus is.
Especially adults. Like if it's a random adult and like you're angry at me, like what what are we gonna do, man? Like are we gonna throw hands? Like
Yeah.
what are we talking about? Like
Put your kid in the cart. Let's do this.
right. Like we're at high V, bro.
Yeah.
Sorry I grabbed the last pack of Ritz. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think relationships are hard, and I mean there's no perfect answer, but there's all you can do is just try to get knowledgeable on it
Yeah.
and ask for help.
Cool. Thanks for the question. Piece of shit. No, I'm just kidding. There it
Pretty
is.
sure you said kids running through them.
Cancel him.
So
Get rid
cancel.
of him right now.
Everyone heard it. This man runs through kids.
God.
We can play some games. Yeah, I'm looking for feedback. That's my critical thing. Like, I would like to hear from people, like what they think we should do about gaming, or if they would like to see us game, or if like we should keep those separate.
Yeah. But I'm definitely game for the community engagement.
Yeah,
So yeah, a big thing would be the quickest way to get to us is obviously Discord. because we see that immediately. We get notifications for that. And then obviously commenting on our social media accounts. YouTube would be the next best because we see those. I check the other
Yeah.
ones, 2 or 3 times a week. So, yeah.
Well, on to React content then.
On to different things. Until next time.